Let's go to the NFC North now. Are you going to make a proclamation about my Detroit Lions winning the division right now?
No, I'm not. I'm not going to make any proclamation.
Dang it.
All right? I mean, your Detroit Lions, they got a lot of respect. Do I think it's a little bit overblown, the hype, all of it? Yeah. Do I worry about that? I definitely do. I mean, how can you not? I mean, you are. You guys are all Lions fans are ready for the sky to fall here.
They won 9 games last year, had to go on a run at the end of the year to get there. It didn't look like there was any chance of that early on in the year, or even mid-year. So they won 9 games last year. Their over-under this year is 9.5. That's the most in the NFC North. 79% of the money is on the over. So the betting public believes in the Detroit Lions. More so than Lions fans, I would probably predict.
That's probably right. This is new territory.
This is very new territory.
Right? And I know your defense might be better, but I'm still not expecting to be world beaters, and you got to play the Chiefs and the Seahawks to start the year. I mean, you're talking about 2 teams that are like, it's firepower. Watch out. Right? Atlanta, all right. They're just like you guys in a lot of ways. I look at like a team that had a good offseason and we're hopeful for, and they might get in the playoffs this year. Green Bay in week 4, I mean, you and I both feel like they're being disrespected there. I'm going under here.
The first time you do an under is against my Detroit Lions.
That's damn right I am.
All right, I'm taking the under on the Giants then. Fine.
You can't go back. It's already written in stone. I'm going to go under. Not that I'm expecting like the sky to fall, but I do think there's going to be an adjustment period. I wouldn't be shocked if this is one of those like, hey, the pressure's on, we melt a little early, we come on towards the end of the year, we just missed the playoffs, and next year's really your year. Mm-hmm. I don't know how ready for prime time they are. You know that. The defense I have questions about, and I'm still not just a total believer in Jared Goff that way. So that's where I'm going to go with the under here.
So you can't hurt us with your words because we hurt ourselves with our words. It's next year has been our mantra for years and years.
Okay,
so I mean, that doesn't hurt us at all. Pete said in my ear, well, like, what's the reaction if they get blown out week 1, Thursday on NBC at Kansas City?
They're going to get crushed.
Honestly, for me, well, maybe Chris Jones won't be there. I got to check in with.
That could be a good thing.
What is that guy's name? Michael K. What's his no?
Michael Bay.
Michael Bay.
Do you know who Michael K is? Yeah, okay.
He's the play-by-play guy for the Yankees. That I know. But for me, I kind of think like it's a no-lose situation for my Lions a little bit, week number 1. Because if they get blown out or beat by the Chiefs at Kansas, like everyone's like, yeah, of course, they're the Chiefs. That's going to happen. If they somehow stay in that game and lose close, it's like that's a confidence builder. And if they win that game, then you're just like, oh my gosh, it's the best of all worlds.
No doubt.
So in a weird way, I kind of don't feel like week number 1 makes or breaks them. I think it can help them more than it will hurt them.
Yeah,
I
hear you there. I hear you there. You know, in some ways, when I think of stuff like that, them losing a close one to the Chiefs could be the worst thing that happens because they'll still, oh, damn, we were good, we should have beat them, and they'll kind of puff your chest out, and all of a sudden the Seahawks come into town, you're like, oh shit, whoa, here they come again. Oh no, wait, we were not as good, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see, but I do think the Chris Jones thing is the biggest thing they got going for them. If there's an advantage your team has, it is that your O-line, even with Chris Jones, should be able to run the ball and do some things in the run game. Mm-hmm. It's the strength of your football team. And that D-line is, you know, I don't want to say significantly worse, but it drops a notch or 2 without him in the middle. You know, they're still a group. They got some young guys. They don't have anybody else that you can say is dominant yet, right? It's not like the Eagles where you're like, well, if one guy's missing, the other 74 will be awesome on the D-line, right?
Yeah.
It's like, no, Chris Jones, he's kind of the game wrecker for them, and that could be an issue for them in week 1.
All right, so you're going under with the Lions.
Yes, I am.
We got the Vikings next. Their over-under is 8.5. Last season they won 13 games, improbably won 13 games. Vegas has them crashing back to earth, barely making the playoffs, if at all.
Yeah. You know, and the NFC North, just so we hit on this too, because I forgot to, they play the AFC West and the NFC South, right? So the NFC South, we know it's not a world beater crew there.
I know, but
Right.
either is the North. Though,
No,
so it's
no,
like
you're
those are
exactly right.
50-50 coin flip
It's
games.
a bunch of teams where you look at and go, there's some potential there. There's
Yeah.
some things on those teams I like,
Yeah.
right? So and then we know the AFC West is going to be pretty tough altogether. Minnesota, I think the thing that won last year, yeah, like you kind of just said, they weren't as good as their record, and I look at them this year and go, out of their first 5 games, there's 3 teams that I look at that are definitively better than them, in my opinion, and the Chiefs, the Chargers, and the Eagles, where I'd go, they're definitely better than them, where I could see them being 2-3 to start the year. So I think the defense will be better. I think people will catch on to O'Connell and that offense a little bit after seeing it for a year, to where I'm not going to say I think it's going to be as explosive. I'm going to take the under again here.
Wow.
I am. I don't think it's going to be grossly under, but I think they're a team that's kind of fighting for their life all year, and I see them as 8-9, 7-10. If I'm wrong, they're 9-8. I don't think it's going to be 12-5 or 10-7. I just don't see that. So I'm taking the under here. I don't think it's by much, but I'm going to take it.
All right, so you think they're going to come crashing back to earth in Minneapolis, 13-win, now a 8-win team, maybe less. The Bears, though, it's the opposite story for them a little bit. They won 3 games last year. Their over-under is 7.5. Seems to be a lot of positive momentum going. They think Justin Fields is going to take another step forward.
That's right. I'm excited for them. There's some things there.
That's a big jump, though.
That's
from 3 wins into 8 wins if you want to take the over.
Well, it is. It's definitely one of the ones that, like, I didn't look at any of these over-unders until we started here today. I mean, I didn't look at it. And when I saw that one, I was like, oh, wow, okay. Hey, the Justin Fields hype, all that, the weapons they got at receiver. Everybody thinks the O-line's going to be better. They spent a bunch of money on people in free agency in the defense, right? So I do think they'll be a better football team. Here's the thing that I don't like about their early season schedule, and it's just off of what we just said, and we've talked about this a lot. Justin Fields, where's he at? Where's his development at? He's thrown 3 passes this preseason so far.
Mm-hmm. They were
right?
awesome passes.
Right? They were. Perfect quarterback rating. He's blowing it out of the water there.
Yeah.
But what I don't like is what you see right here, okay? And my point is that they play those first 5 games. There's one thing. I don't know how good those first 5 teams will be, right?
Yeah.
But I can tell you one thing about every one of them. Their defenses are going to be good. Their defenses, the Broncos, the Commanders, the Buccaneers, and the Packers will all have very good defenses. And, of course, we know the Chiefs are going to be good and creative too. To where I don't think that bodes well for the Bears. I'm going to take the under. They're one where in their perfect world, you'd like to play a few defenses that aren't good. Let's let Justin Fields get in a rhythm. Let's figure out how our new formula works, whatever. Here it's going to be like, whoa, we got to execute at a high level here right off the bat. I don't think that's going to happen right off the bat. I could see them going on a middle season run. I think early on it could be tough. So that's why I'm going to give them the under here.
Yeah, the over is minus 130, so there's actually more money on the over for the Bears, which surprised me because I think this is a slam dunk under because of my hatred of the Bears, first of all. But two, I don't think they make that significant of a jump. I mean, were they as bad as a 3-win team last year? Probably not, but I don't know. They weren't that much better than that, so it's just
it's definitely one where I wouldn't feel comfortable just throwing money on it. It's one where I always break out my old phrase, like I got to see it to believe it a little first. I can't just go, oh yeah, Justin Fields, he ran great last year, so now he's definitely going to turn the corner like Jalen Hurts and be good in the pass game. No, there's one little element missing in that equation. Oh, that's right, the Eagles have an all-star team, right? So that helped Jalen Hurts, come along slowly but surely, and he had other avenues where we talked about during the year. It wasn't always on him at the end of the game to dice people up with his right arm and passing the ball, right? We had games where we'd go, well, they needed a big drive. They just ran the ball down the field every play. I don't think he's going to have that luxury here. I know everybody's expecting that huge jump. I'm sure it's going to be good, but I can't say over and it's going to be 8-9 or 9-8 in playoff. I'm not willing to do that.
This really is one of the more interesting divisions because you have the ascension of the Lions, which has never happened before. You have people thinking that the Vikings are going to go from a 13-win team to a 7-win team. People think the Bears are going to go from a 3-win team to an 8-win team. And then you got the Packers here.
Right.
No more Aaron Rodgers. They won 8 games only last year with Aaron Rodgers. Jordan Love's looked pretty good in the preseason so far. Their over-under is 7.5, and I will let you know that 80% of the money so far for the Packers is on the over. You've gone under on every team so far in the NFC North, which is an
Suck it, Lions!
Anti-North bias. So
I'm racist against the North.
what are you thinking about the Packers?
I'm not racist against them. I'm not. I think the Packers have I'm going to say it again. The Packers have the best roster in the division.
Oh, God. You're going to pick them to win the division
I'm
eventually,
picking them
aren't you?
to go over. I know that.
God.
I am. Here's the one thing I like. All right. The first 2 games of the year, yeah, they're on the road, but they're not against world beater defenses, so that's good for Jordan Love. And I think their defense is talented to where they can give those teams some issues. They have a very favorable early season schedule. Bears, Falcons, Saints, Lions, Raiders. None of those, I mean, I know we have some expectations, but I don't think anybody there, other than the Lions, are we expecting to be a world beater or being even thought about it that way, right?
I don't think you would have to try real hard to convince some people they could be 5-0 going into their bye.
They could be, or 4-1, or even a 3-2 is going to work. But I am going to play the Rodgers fatigue, the playoff letdowns, 3 years in a row. That all led to, Rodgers' injury, of course. There's a lot of things that went into last year's demise, and even with all that, yeah, they went 8-9. I think this year they bounced back. They proved people wrong. I think they got motivation. They want to show that it wasn't just him. And then I also think they got motivation in the fact that they know they underperformed at certain positions. And guys like Dobbs and Watson are going to be different players this year. And it sounds like they're going to have a healthy O-line. So that's where I'm going over for sure with the Packers.
I'm with you. Unfortunately, I see a lot of the same things you see with the Green Bay Packers here. All right, so let's take one look at the whole division here because I don't think we did that off the top here.
Right.
If you have them, so the final look, NFC North, the total win totals if you're watching on Peacock or YouTube. 9.5 for the Lions, 8.5 for the Vikings, 7.5 for the Bears, 7.5 for the Packers. I mean, this is one of those divisions where if you told me it's going to come down to the last week to determine it, I mean, yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, I could see this being very jumbled up and tight through most of the year, where not much more than a game is separating like the whole group, right? Or it's like, hey, the Lions are in first, and the team in last place is only 2 games behind them, or they got 2 games behind them and they play them twice down the stretch, right? I certainly could see it being that type of division.
All right, so that is the NFC North.
Yo, thanks for watching, homies. I appreciate it as always. The NFL season is right around the corner, so now it's your turn to hit subscribe to Chris Simms Unbuttoned. If you want to get all the training camp battles, preseason film review, playoff predictions, and much, much more, you know where to find it. It's right here, Chris Simms Unbuttoned. Please subscribe. Thanks again for watching. Peace out, homies. See you soon.